This question asks us to solve 10x plus 35 is equal to 135. Now, there are several ways that we can solve this, but before we carry on, you might want to pause the video to see if you can try to solve this equation yourself. Now, if we were going to try to solve this equation, one thing that we could do is we could see that there is a plus 35 there, and at the end of the day, what we want to do is try to get x by itself, or make x the subject of the equation. So one thing that we could do is subtract 35 from both sides. And if we do that, we'll get the positive 35 minus the 35, so that will become 0. And 135 minus 35, that will become 100. Nothing actually changes to the 10x part. So we have 10x is equal to 100. So what we could do here is we could divide both sides by 10. And if we do that, the 10 in the numerator and the 10 in the denominator, 10 divided by 10 is 1. And so you get 1x. Although we don't normally write 1x algebraically, we just write x. And 100 divided by 10 becomes 10. And so that's the solution to this linear equation. In this question, we're asked to solve the linear equation 10x plus 35 is equal to 135. Well, we can see that the x is being multiplied by 10, so the opposite or the inverse of multiplying by 10 is to divide by 10. Well, if we were to divide through by 10, we could divide the left side in its entirety by 10, and we would also have to do the same on the right-hand side of the equal sign and divide the 135 by 10. So that's what we can see in the next line of the solution. Now we can go a bit further by simplifying this by splitting out the fractions. So we would have 10x is divided by 10 plus 35 divided by 10 is equal to 135 divided by 10. So let's take a look at that. Now 10 in the numerator and 10 in the denominator, 10 divided by 10 is just equal to 1. So we would get 1x. But algebraically, we don't usually write 1x, we just write x by itself. There's the 35 divided by 10, this will give us 3.5. And there's 135 divided by 10, that will give us 13.5. So looking at the next equation in the solution, we can see that we have x plus 3.5 is equal to 13.5. Well, we want to get x by itself, so we still need to eliminate this 3.5. The opposite, or the inverse of adding 3.5 would be to subtract 3.5. So what we do on the left-hand side of the equation, we also need to do on the right-hand side of the equation. So if we do that, the 3.5, the positive 3.5, take away the 3.5, that will give us 0. And 13.5, subtract 3.5, that will give us 10. And so that is the final solution to this linear equation.